What if I told you there's a continent where coral reefs stretch for 2,300 kilometers like underwater rainbows, where ancient rocks, older than multicellular life, rise from red deserts, and where cities built by convicts became some of the most beautiful places on Earth, a land where every creature seems designed by nature's most creative imagination? Some to amaze you, others to remind you who's really in charge. I've discovered 15 destinations across Australia that will make you understand why this continent country feels like a completely different planet. From underwater worlds that glow with colors that don't exist anywhere else, to deserts where rocks have been sacred for 65,000 years, to cities where modern architecture meets ancient Aboriginal wisdom in ways that redefine what civilization can look like. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll take you on a journey across the world's largest island, where convict colonies became cultural capitals, where the outback teaches you what real silence sounds like, and where Aboriginal culture offers the world's oldest continuous spiritual tradition. Get ready to see Australia, like the ancient Dreamtime stories intended, as a land where every rock, every tree, every waterhole has a story older than memory. Number 15, the Great Barrier Reef, where 2,900 individual coral reefs stretch for 2,300 kilometers, creating the largest living structure on Earth, so vast it can be seen from space, so colorful it makes the most vibrant paintings look dull by comparison. Swimming through this reef feels like floating through a living kaleidoscope where every turn reveals new colors that seem impossible in nature. Sea turtles glide past like ancient submarines, clownfish dart through anemone gardens, and whale sharks cruise by like gentle giants from prehistoric dreams. This reef system is home to over 1,500 species of fish, 400 types of coral, and marine life so diverse that scientists are still discovering new species. It's not just a reef, it's an entire underwater civilization. Number 14. Uluru, the sacred monolith that rises 348 meters from the red heart of Australia, where Aboriginal people have maintained spiritual connection for over 65,000 years, making it the site of the world's oldest continuous religious tradition. The rock changes color dramatically throughout the day, from deep purple at dawn to brilliant red at midday, to glowing orange at sunset. Walking around its base, you discover ancient rock art and sacred sites that tell Dreamtime stories passed down through 2,500 generations. The silence here is so profound, it feels sacred, broken only by the sound of wind through desert grasses and the calls of birds that have lived here since the continent drifted into its current position. Number 13, Sydney Harbour, where a city built by convicts became one of the world's most beautiful harbors, dominated by an opera house that looks like giant shells frozen in the act of opening, and a bridge that locals called the coat hanger. The opera house's shell-like structures were inspired by orange segments, but looked different from every angle, sometimes like sails catching wind, sometimes like shells on a beach, sometimes like flowers opening to the sun. The harbor contains over 240 kilometers of shoreline, with hidden beaches, exclusive islands, and coves where Aboriginal people lived for thousands of years before Europeans arrived. Taking a ferry across this harbor feels like traveling through a postcard that came to life. Number 12, the 12 Apostles along the Great Ocean Road, where limestone stacks rise from the Southern Ocean like ancient sentinels, constantly being reshaped by waves that have traveled across the entire Southern Ocean to reach this coast. Only 8 apostles remain standing today. The sea continues its relentless work of erosion, meaning this landscape is constantly changing. The Great Ocean Road itself was built by returned World War I soldiers as both an employment project and a memorial to fallen comrades. Driving this coastal route feels like traveling along the edge of the world, where every turn reveals another impossible view of limestone cliffs, hidden beaches, and ocean that stretches unbroken to Antarctica. Number 11, the Blue Mountains near Sydney, where eucalyptus forests create a blue haze that gives the mountains their name, and where the Three Sisters rock formation tells an Aboriginal Dreamtime story that's been passed down for thousands of years. The blue haze comes from eucalyptus oil evaporating from millions of trees, creating an atmosphere that changes the light and makes the entire landscape glow. The Scenic Railway is the steepest railway in the world, dropping 415 meters through cliff faces into the Jameson Valley. Walking through these mountains feels like exploring a living pharmacy. Aboriginal people used hundreds of plants here for medicine, and the air itself seems to have healing property. Number 10, Melbourne's famous Laneways, where a city built on gold rush wealth became Australia's cultural capital, with more live music venues per capita than any other city, and street art that transforms every narrow alley into an outdoor gallery. Melbourne's coffee culture is so sophisticated that locals claim they invented the flat white, and the Laneway cafe scene makes every coffee break feel like discovering a secret. The street art changes constantly. What you see today might be painted over tomorrow, making every visit a new discovery. The city's cultural diversity means you can eat authentic cuisine from over 100 countries, often cooked by immigrants who brought their grandmother's recipes and adapted them to Australian ingredients. Number 9, Kakadu National Park, where Aboriginal rock art galleries contain paintings up to 20,000 years old, making this the world's longest continuous artistic tradition, preserved in landscapes that remain virtually unchanged since the Ice Age. The park contains over 5,000 Aboriginal art sites, with paintings that show the evolution of styles, spiritual beliefs, and even environmental changes over millennia. During the wet season, the floodplains become a paradise for birds and crocodiles, while the dry season reveals rock pools and gorges where Aboriginal people have lived continuously for 65,000 years. Walking through Kakadu feels like traveling through a living library, where every rock tells stories older than written history. Number 8, Fraser Island, Kangaroo, the world's largest sand island, where rainforests grow on pure sand, where over 100 freshwater lakes formed in sand dunes, and where dingoes roam beaches that stretch for 75 uninterrupted kilometers. Lake Mackenzie contains water so pure it's essentially distilled. The sand acts as a giant filter, creating water so clear and soft it feels like swimming in liquid silk. The island's rainforests grow without soil, sustained entirely by nutrients from decomposing organic matter on pure sand. Driving along 75-Mile Beach, which serves as the island's highway, feels like racing along the edge of the world, where civilization hasn't quite reached. Number 7, Barossa Valley, where German immigrants in the 1840s created Australia's premier wine region, producing Shiraz from vines that are among the oldest in the world, with some dating back over 170 years. The valley's old vines, Shiraz, produces wines so distinctive they're considered among the world's greatest, with flavors that can only come from vines that have survived droughts, floods, and phylloxera outbreaks. The landscape rolls like a green ocean, dotted with historic wineries where traditional winemaking techniques produce bottles that sell for thousands of dollars. Tasting wine here while watching sunset paint the vineyards gold feels like drinking liquid history. Number 6, Cradle Mountain in Tasmania, where ancient rainforests and alpine landscapes create wilderness so pure it feels like discovering Earth before humans arrived, with lakes so still they create perfect mirror reflections of peaks and clouds. Tasmania's isolation for 10,000 years created unique ecosystems where Tasmanian devils still roam, and ancient plant species exist nowhere else on Earth. The overland track through Cradle Mountain Lake Staneclear National Park passes through landscapes that range from alpine meadows to ancient rainforests to button grass plains. The silence here is so complete that your footsteps on the walking trail sound impossibly loud. Number 5, Ningaloo Reef in Western Australia, where you can swim with whale sharks, the largest fish in the ocean, in crystal clear water where the reef comes right to the shore, making it accessible directly from the beach. Ningaloo is one of the few places on Earth where coral reefs grow directly from the shore, meaning you can snorkel over spectacular coral gardens just meters from the beach. The whale sharks arrive predictably each year between March and August, following coral spawning events that create feeding opportunities for these gentle giants. Swimming alongside a 12-meter whale shark in water so clear you can see every spot on their skin feels like sharing space with living dinosaurs. Number 4, Kangaroo Island off South Australia, where a third of the island remains pristine wilderness, protecting unique subspecies of kangaroos, echidnas, and other animals found nowhere else on Earth. The remarkable rocks are granite boulders weathered into impossible shapes that look like abstract sculptures created by giants. The island was never connected to mainland Australia by a land bridge, so its wildlife evolved in isolation, creating species that exist nowhere else. Walking among kangaroos, echidnas, and other wildlife that show no fear of humans feels like visiting a living zoo, where the animals are completely wild but wonderfully tame. Number 3. Daintree Rainforest in Queensland, the world's oldest surviving rainforest at 180 million years old, where plants that fed dinosaurs still grow, and where saltwater crocodiles patrol rivers that flow directly from rainforest to reef. This rainforest contains plants that are direct descendants of the first flowering plants on Earth, making it a living museum of evolution. The canopy contains more plant diversity in 1 hectare than exists in the entire North American continent. Walking through Daintree feels like traveling back 180 million years to when Australia was part of Gondwana and dinosaurs roamed through forests exactly like this one. Number 2, Rottnest Island near Perth, where quokkas, small marsupials with permanent smiles, have no natural predators and no fear of humans, creating the world's happiest wildlife selfie opportunities on beaches so beautiful they look fake. The island is completely car-free, so exploration happens by bicycle along coastal paths that connect over 60 beaches and 20 bays. Quokkas approach visitors with curiosity rather than fear, and their natural expression looks exactly like they're smiling for cameras. The beaches here contain some of the whitest sand and clearest water in Australia, creating a paradise where wildlife and humans coexist in perfect harmony. And number 1, the Pinnacles Desert in Western Australia, where thousands of limestone pillars rise from yellow sand like an alien sculpture garden, creating a landscape so otherworldly that it's been used as the backdrop for science fiction films. These limestone pillars formed over thousands of years from ancient seashells, creating sculptures that range from small stumps to towering spires over 4 meters high. The mystery is that scientists still don't fully understand how they formed. The process that created them no longer occurs anywhere on Earth. Walking through this desert, especially during sunset when the pillars cast long shadows across golden sand, feels like discovering the remains of an ancient civilization built by beings who understood geometry better than humans. From coral reefs that stretch like underwater rainbows to deserts where ancient rocks hold 65,000 years of spiritual stories. From cities built by convicts that became cultural capitals to islands where smiling animals have no fear of humans, Australia isn't just a travel destination, it's an entire continent that feels like a different planet, where evolution took creative risks that paid off in ways that continue to amaze the world. What makes Australia absolutely extraordinary is how it combines the world's most dangerous creatures with the world's friendliest people. The planet's oldest continuous culture with some of its youngest cities, and landscapes so diverse that you can snorkel coral reefs in the morning and watch sunset over red deserts in the evening. This is a continent where everything is both exactly what you expect and completely surprising. Now, I'm absolutely fascinated to know which of these 15 places made you want to book a flight to Australia immediately. Was it swimming with whale sharks in crystal clear water? Or maybe taking selfies with animals that look like they're permanently smiling? Drop a comment below with the number of your favorite Australian wonder. If this video has awakened your desire to experience the world's most unique continent, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Every week, we explore destinations that prove our planet contains more diversity, more beauty, and more incredible wildlife than any single lifetime could ever fully experience. Speaking of countries with impossible natural beauty, next week we're exploring Canada to discover 15 places where pristine wilderness meets multicultural cities, where northern lights dance over frozen lakes, and where wildlife encounters happen in landscapes so vast they redefine your understanding of space. Canada is going to leave you speechless. Until then, keep dreaming of coral reefs and red deserts, keep believing in the magic of wildlife that shows no fear, and I'll see you in the next incredible adventure. Good day, mate.